Sorry for the late podcast post. Here is this week's podcast. Welcome back to another edition of the Backyard Sports Talk. Glad to have you in here for another episode. I am Reid Jaco and
I'm Danny Jaco.
It was a huge weekend for wrestling. This week has been the MLB All-Star break and some big MLB news to come up. We got some potential trade pieces that could go at the trade deadline coming up at the end of the month. We have some interesting NFL topics, including a former Pro Bowler going to a new team. So we'll go ahead and get into it. As we do always, we're going to go ahead and start with the wrestling part of our podcast. And the first part of it is last week was a massive week for wrestling. I think that they pointed out there was like nearly 47 hours of wrestling all together through all the different the bigger promotions. And on Saturday, it all started off with both the Great American Bash and AEW's All-In. So we'll go ahead and get into the Great American Bash. I watched a little bit of that. It was a very good show. Evans beat Jasper Troy in pinfall. Sol Ruca defeated Izzy Dame by pinfall for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Ethan Page defeated Ricky Saints by pinfall with the Falls Count Anywhere match for the NXT North American Championship. Obafemi beat Yoshikita Inamurata. I think I'm saying that right. I can't. By pinfall in a singles match for the NXT Championship. And Jordynne Grace and her NXT/WWE debut, Blake Monroe, defeated the Fatal Influence, Jacy Jane, and Fallon Henley by pinfall in a tag team match. That was the Great American Bash that happened on Saturday. So I know you probably didn't watch any of the Great American Bash.
No, I did not.
By seeing this card, what do you what did you think about this card going into the Great American Bash?
Well, is again a lot of them, is people I don't know a lot about because I don't really follow NXT the way that I probably should doing a podcast. But it sounded like a pretty good card. I know that the card was advertised on WWE television quite a bit. They talked about it, and you said, and really, if you really get technical, the weekend kicked off with SmackDown on Friday night. Truthfully, because we had SmackDown, then we had the Great American Bash, then we had the Saturday night.
Well, I mean, if you go back, I mean, there was something to do with wrestling all last week. Yes. So I mean, there's not a true kickoff until unless you want to say that WWE on Raw last Monday was your kickoff, because you had Raw, then you had NXT on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday you had AEW, then TNA on Thursday, then Ring of Honor and SmackDown on Friday night, and then you had the three shows on Saturday, finishing up with on Sunday night Evolution 2.
Wouldn't you? First off, what do you think? What did you think about the Great American Bash?
From what I watched, it seemed really good. I tell you what, not so much in the Great American Bash part of things, but Jordynne Grace has been around for several years. But I watched her in Evolution. We'll get to the Evolution part of the shows in wrestling coming up, but she really showed me that she has the potential to be on the main roster, and that is a name that I would look out for. She's not a spring chicken. She's in her 30s, but she's been around for a long time. She was in TNA for many years, made the transition to NXT. Now she's currently in NXT, so hopefully she can get the call for the main roster before her time runs out, because I seriously do think she has the potential. I'm excited to see Blake Monroe / Mariah May, who was a former AEW star, in NXT moving forward. I think that is going to be a great opportunity for her. And then even Obafemi, who is currently the champion of the NXT, He is a one big dude, and I hope to see him on main roster eventually. I don't know if it'll be within the next year or two. I mean, he's still fairly young, but Obafemi, Jordan Grace, and Blake Monroe are three names in the NXT right now I would look out for, with also a backing name of Sol Ruka and JC Jane. Those ladies there, along with the Obafemi, are the top names in NXT right now I would pay attention to, that could potentially get the move to main roster here before we know it.
Now, has Jordan Grace never been on the WWE main roster?
No.
Okay.
She's bounced around, from the NXT side to the, from TNA to the NXT, but then she has not been on the main
She
roster.
wasn't in AEW?
No. No, she was a long-time TNA star.
I have a question for you before we get into this very far. Something that I heard. Would you consider Saturday night's main event a PLE?
Not at all. See, the way me and my friends differentiate
Goldberg
is
didn't consider it one either, but I thought you would have.
it's on live TV. It's free. It's not a premium live event.
Okay. All right. I guess I never looked at that.
That takes away the premium live event if it's on live TV for free, because it was on NBC. It is literally a free channel. You can get NBC for free anywhere in the country.
He kind of wanted to be on his retirement match on a premium live event. I would have thought Saturday night, and I get it, Saturday night's main event. It's a historical thing, but they go into commercials and all that stuff.
Well, we'll get there when we get to the Saturday night's main event portion. So some recap of All In. The Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes, Marshall Von Erich, Ross Von Erich, and Sonny Guerrero, with Kevin Von Erich defeated Shane Taylor Promotions. Shane Taylor and company, with Anthony Ogo and Trish Adora, by pinfall in an 8-man tag team. The second match of the All-In Superstar loaded card was the Big Boom, AJ, and Conglomeration. Oh my goodness, I cannot talk tonight. Defeated the Don Callis family in an 8-man tag team match. And then the third one was FTR defeated the Outrunners, and the Ops defeated the Death Riders by pinfall in a trios match for the trios championship. And MFJ won by pinning Roderick Strong in the men's casino gauntlet for a future AEW World Championship match. And then Big Dustin Rhodes defeated Daniel Garcia, Kyle Fletcher, and Sammy Guerrero by pinfall in a 4-way match for the vacant AEW TNT Championship. The reason it was a vacant TNT Championship is because Adam Cole has had some injuries. He did not really elaborate a whole lot, and he was going to go away for a while, so they ended up having to surrender. He had to surrender his title, so then they had that 4-way match. So it's good to see Big Dustin Rhodes have that championship. That was a really good match. I was able to watch that, and I pretty much watched the entire card here. Moving on is the Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay defeated the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Champions. No, the Executive Vice President titles. My bad. I'm sorry. And then Alfina won by pinning Mina in a women's casino gauntlet match. The Hurt Syndicate defeated Jet Speed and the Patriarch for the 3-way tag match in a World AEW Tag Team Championship. And then getting into the triple threat main event. They considered it a triple threat main event. they had the first one in Timeless, Tori Storm, who is champion, who ended up defeating Mercedes Moné by pinfall in a singles match for the AEW Women's Championship, with her saying tonight on Dynamite that her manager Luther was sadly injured. Don't know the extent of his injury. Moving forward, the Okada and Omega. This was one of the biggest anticipated matches on the card. The winner takes all. This was going to be a championship that would be unifying the Continental Championship and the International Championship into the inaugural Unified Championship, with Okada being the first AEW Unified Championship. And then we get to the final match of the triple-threaded, three-headed monster main event, was the Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley in a Texas death match for the AEW Championship.
And it was brutal.
This was a brutal 35 minutes and 55-second match where Hangman Adam Page defeated Jon Moxley as he had him tied up into a chain, hanging him on the side of the ring.
And he actually tapped out, didn't he?
And he actually tapped out. And in this match, we had a couple of returns in Darby Allin and Bryan Danielson. And a couple of matches before that was the return of the Mr. Adam Copeland. He goes by Cope in AEW. In WWE, he went by Edge. Now he just uses Cope in AEW. So I know you didn't get to watch the full card, but I want to kind of get your thoughts on some of these matches here that we went over and kind of talk a little bit about.
Well, I would like to, if you can find it for me, and I would like to watch the main event in its entirety. Is that still out there anywhere?
Yes.
I would like to watch that in its entirety. It sounds like anybody that really likes an ECW type match, maybe. I bet Jim Cornette's not got very good things to say about that match.
Probably not.
He doesn't like those, but anybody that. But anyway, it's still brutal, and I mean, I don't want them every time, but I would like to watch it. I really would like to watch the Okada match and Kenny Omega match. I've heard that was a pretty good match.
I mean, to be honest with you, this was it was jam packed. It was probably between a 6 and 7 hour card. But the entire time I was watching, I didn't get bored.
Really, Stevie Richards, I've been listening to his podcast a lot, and I really liked. I mean, he used to be in WWE and stuff, and I can see where he's talking about it. It was such a good card, but he said there was so much that went on in that time. It was easy things to get overshadowed. Something that you watched 3 hours ago.
I can agree.
He said
with
it was almost too much a little bit. He said the whole card was good. He apparently watched it all too. He said it was good, but he said something big that blew your mind 3 hours ago, and something big happens now, you kind of it overshadows it and overpowers it a little
as
bit.
much as I like this. If this is going to be their WrestleMania, so to say, this needs to be a 2-night event.
That's where I was going to go, and that's what others have said too. I've listened to several podcasts this week. Said it was a good enough card that it should have been 2 nights.
This was a 12-match card.
That's too much for one night.
So you're talking 6 or 7 hours. 6 or 7 hours. So you're packing a lunch, supper, and I mean, you're leaving the kids all night with babysitters and everything. Because
after a while, you sit that long, it's starting to take the fun out of it. If anybody's sitting that long, at that point, whether you have a bad back or not, you sit that long, you're starting to hurt.
Oh, absolutely. I think it would definitely benefit them tremendously to make this into a two-night event.
And don't be surprised if you don't see something like that happen.
Right. And I think the one thing you could do is have the Casino Gauntlet be for women's be one night, and the men's be the next night, and then do the women's champion one night, men's champion the next night or whatnot. But don't do this. Don't do the women's casino gauntlet the same night as the women's championship match, and don't do the men's gauntlet the same as the men's championship match.
What do you think about the women's division in AEW? At one time, it was deemed pretty weak. I'm just curious what you think about it now.
Pretty mid. I mean, it's
nothing like
not,
WWE's women's division yet.
No, and I'll tell you what, the women's division in WWE has really gotten better.
Oh, it's top notch
over the last year to year and a half. Because, and I'll be honest with you, before that, it was trash.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I know he's your hero, but Vince McMahon did not know how to
it's
do.
Not fair to say he's my hero.
But
I respect what he done with the company. But it's true that the company grew past him. It was time for new management. But you can't take away what he done. From the 80s on.
I'm not taking anything away from him, but I think it's very important that it just become an actual wrestling event rather than just a lust show.
It was eye candy back, in the day. That's why.
And that's all it was for many years. Like the what was one of the famous matches that I think he was the one that really done a lot during the bra and panties match.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, yeah, that's all cool if you're into that kind of thing.
But that's what was selling during that time.
But I mean, if they're going to, they're going towards the family friendly programming, they needed to get away from that. And I mean, towards the end, Vince did get away from that, but Vince had a hard time writing a lot of these things in there.
Yeah.
So continuing on with the AEW All-In that happened on Saturday. I think the women's division is pretty mid, but top notch. Timeless Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné are the top talent on the roster in the women's division. They've done a great job. That was a match of the centuries, if you ask me, because I thought that was a fabulous match. Both of those ladies worked great together. If you did not get a chance to watch that, it's available on Prime Video. You will have to pay for it because it was a pay-per-view. But go out there. I really hope you watch it and enjoy it as much as I do, because I'll be honest with you, I was kind of skeptical when I watched it. I'm like, okay, do I really want to? I mean, I know that AEW has had their issues with the story writing and everything, but they had a lot of holes in there at the end of All-In. I'm like, I want to watch Dynamite on Wednesday. And most of the time in the AEW, when you turned on a pay-per-view and watched a pay-per-view, it was like, okay, you've told all your stories, so what's next?
Right.
So, I mean, what's next? But I didn't feel like that this time. So I'm
You felt like there was more of the story to go.
Absolutely, and I was I really give them props to them. And let me ask you this: this has been floating around a lot here lately. So, talking about the Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley Texas Death Match. Other than that, name me the biggest AEW moment
in this event,
in their existence.
Oh, probably when CM Punk came in.
Okay, that's what everybody's saying, but he's gone. So now this is almost like you view as a lot of these, like the Hogan turning heel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these big moments in wrestling history.
Right.
This will go down in a pivotal moment in AEW history, but they've got to continue to capitalize.
Right. You can't let up.
Absolutely not. They got to keep going and keep going. So moving on, we had the Saturday night's main event. So those of you who don't know, the Jelly Roll come out last Friday night on SmackDown and had a some little bit of beef with Logan Paul when he come out to perform a song while they were in Atlanta. Were they in Atlanta yet?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if they were in Atlanta yet or were they in Nashville.
I think they were in Nashville.
Okay, they were in Nashville. But him and Logan Paul got into it. Then Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton got into it. And because this all stems towards a match that happens on Saturday night's main event where Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre were in a match. So the deal was afterwards that Jelly Roll would come out with Randy Orton and Logan Paul would come out with Drew McIntyre. Then on Saturday night's main event, it was made official that we will see the Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul in a tag team match at SummerSlam in August. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Once we get through the rest of the card here, we will ask Dad for his opinions.
And it's right around the corner, too. SummerSlam. Go ahead.
Yes. So the second match of the night was Solo Sikoa with JC Mateo, Tala Tonga, and Tonga Loa defeated Jimmy Uso for the singles match for the United States Championship.
That was a good match.
And then in match number 3 was LA Knight defeated Seth Rollins. More to come on that. And just a regular singles match. And then your main event was Gunther defeated Goldberg by a technical submission for the World Heavyweight Championship. This was Goldberg's retirement match. So, going all the way back up to the Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, Jelly Roll, and Logan Paul. First of all, what did you think about the exchanges on Friday night? Firstly,
I thought it's great. I loved. I think Jelly Roll just came right in and just fit right in. I mean, you could tell he's a lifelong wrestling fan. They said, and you could tell he fit right in. I mean, just fell right into it, just like and then when he got involved physically, he looked good getting involved physically. I don't think you could have walked and brought another guy in off the street and done as good as him. I think he was great, and the story was good. Storyline was good. And Logan Paul, got to give him kudos. Logan was being an asshole and played it to great. You know, being just a smart, just a chicken shit heel, and played it to. Logan Paul, hats off to him and Drew.
I thought it was a great initial promo that they did on Friday night, and then Drew actually gave a Claymore to
Jelly Roll.
I thought that was really cool. So, looking forward to that match. So, moving on. So,
and we're not kayfabing here. Right? We talk.
Yeah.
Hunter, did you watch Hunter's press conference? He said that there was 3 wrestlers that was as happy as they've ever been. Randy, Drew, and Logan Paul getting to work with Jelly Roll. And he said they really took that serious and owned it. He said they took that serious and owned it. They really enjoyed doing what they were doing.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Because if you go out into the street and you ask anybody from about my age to your age who Jelly Roll is, they're going to know who he is.
Yeah. Well, he said those 3 really took that program serious and owned it and worked their butt off trying to make it right.
So where I was going with that is people are going to watch. And if those 3 are in that match, they're going to get the notoriety.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. How smart is WWE, though? Think about it. One of the hottest entertainers in the country right now they brought in.
You want to know my opinion of why they done it?
Because they're the top wrestling promotion in the world.
They needed to win the weekend.
Yeah, and they did, hands down.
I think.
I mean, you can talk what you wanted to do about AEW, and I think it was good. But if you looked at numbers, I promise you WWE won.
WWE won the weekend, and I think it had a lot to do with Jelly Roll.
Sure it did. Now, I'm not taking away from what AEW's card was. It was a top card. And you said top matches. I'm not taking any of that away. I will not take any of that away.
Not at all.
However, if you want to look at numbers, AEW or WWE, I'm sure ran away with it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So did you think Jimmy had a chance?
Do so?
Yeah. Against Baby Brother?
Yeah, I did. There was a while that I thought Jimmy might win because he's needing some a little bit more name.
He is needing something because Jay is way over.
Oh yeah.
Solo is over. I feel like Jimmy's kind of that redheaded stepchild.
Yeah, I kind of thought that he might go over just because they're trying to push for him, but Solo did. But I think you're going to see, and I think they know how to get people over, and they'll get Jimmy over when they're ready. They'll get him over. I mean, they've already kind of brought him out the other day, and I think he may get involved somewhere or another with Roman. You know, who knows? But I think you'll see him get over. They'll get him back up where he needs to be.
Absolutely. All right, so continuing on here, talking Saturday night's main event. LA Knight defeated Seth Rollins in a singles match. However, Seth Rollins ended up injuring himself towards the end of the match. And my question to you is that why LA Knight ended it so fast after all of that happened?
Yes.
When the doctor come out, doctor was standing there right by Paul Heyman, did not leave Paul Heyman's side when Seth Rollins was being pinned by LA Knight.
Yes. I think that Seth said he couldn't go on any longer, and that he knew what was wrong was serious, and he told the official for LA Knight to go right to his finisher. Now I think that's what happened, and LA Knight didn't seem to be overly excited either about winning that away.
No, you could tell that, it's like when the official kind of come up there and talked and said something to him, you could tell that LA Knight was kind of scrambling.
Yeah, to collect his thought.
To get over there.
Nobody ever wants to win a match that away.
No,
but win a match just because somebody got hurt. What it amounts to. But anyway, there's still, and I can't think of his name now, one very, very well-respected wrestling podcaster that has got, I can't think of his name, that has got a lot of information correct. He's been at the forefront of a whole bunch of different wrestling stories, says that this is a work. And I don't believe it, but he says it's a work.
The injury?
Yes. He said he was told on Thursday that look for Seth Rollins to be to have a injury, and it would be WWE would go all out for it. But I've watched others, and I'm like Cornette and all of it. I just don't believe I don't believe he's right this time, because I think it was real.
I think it was real. I truly do. And that leads into my next question. When we're going to talk a little bit about the main event, Gunther over Goldberg. Do you think potentially that if Rollins did not get hurt, that the plan was that Goldberg would have won that match and Seth Rollins would have cashed in on Goldberg? So then you're not damaging a whole lot from Gunther?
Yes, I do believe that there was a good chance that may be what was going to happen, because I think that Goldberg and Brock Lesnar and maybe Roman Reigns is probably the only three people that can beat Gunther and not hurt him. So I really think that their intentional plan was to let Goldberg go over, win the belt, have his 5 minutes of glory from it, and then Seth Rollins was going to come down, cash in, and they were going to have a match, and Seth was going to go over on him. That's what I think, and that's what a lot of people think. And that's what Stevie Richards, I'll give Stevie credit on this. Why else was it so important to take the belt off of Jey Uso and get back on Gunther for this match?
Well, because the WWE does not know how to book Gunther unless he's got a title around his waist.
Well, that's true. But also, I think maybe they might have had some buyer's remorse, too, over that, putting the belt on Jey.
Why? They were selling merch everywhere. I want to see their first 2 quarters. What they grossed.
Now, I heard that the merch was out of this world with Jay.
Because Jay went in February. Everybody was loving that. They bought everything after Royal Rumble,
Yeah.
and then in quarter 2 when he wanted the title, I mean everybody was buying that, and even between them everybody was buying. So I want to see the merch numbers. So you're telling me that they had buyer's remorse on somebody who was selling that much?
Well, no, I shouldn't. Maybe that's not right. That's just kind of my opinion. But they seem like they wanted to get it back on Gunther pretty fast. And I don't think Gunther will lose to. I think it'll be somebody.
You don't think Punk will beat him?
I don't know. I want to think that he might, but I don't know. I really think that they want somebody can be their next big thing. And that's what Paul Heyman referred to him is he's the next big thing. That's the way they did Brock Lesnar back, and I think they want to have this guy that's invincible right now. I really do believe that.
Okay, so I know where you're going with this, but this dude is not invincible. Braun Breaker is not invincible if that's what you're getting at.
I'm talking about Gunther.
What I'm saying is to beat Gunther. There's no way as strong as he is, there's no way Braun Breaker is beating Gunther.
No, I don't think that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
I think that CM Punk. Here's why my guess is there'll be something happen and interfere in that match with Punk and Gunther. I do believe that CM Punk, when he wins the belt, I think CM Punk will be. I do believe next WrestleMania he'll be in the main event. He's always wanted to main event that. And I wonder, maybe that was why he got. Maybe that was what they promised you when he come back. We'll get you in as a main event at WrestleMania. I think when CM Punk wins, I think he'll win the belt again, but I think he'll be in WrestleMania.
So you don't think it'll be any time this fall?
No, I personally don't. I don't think he'll take a beat. I mean, he might get beat, but I think that his time will be at WrestleMania. I do believe CM Punk will finally main event at WrestleMania.
He'll finish his story.
He'll main event at WrestleMania and win the world title. And I don't think it's going to be at SummerSlam. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think you're going to see Gunther hold that belt for a long time. Maybe till WrestleMania.
Really?
I think they're going to make Gunther looking invincible. They're going to
well, I mean,
up.
that's what they did with Roman for nearly 4 years.
Right. They want to give him the Brock Lesnar, Bill Goldberg, Roman Reigns persona, where he is invincible. And right now, if you wanted to take somebody from that roster and you're going to make them invincible, who would you pick? Who else would you pick?
Main roster Gunther.
There you go.
That's the only one in main roster.
In time, Braun Breaker can, but he's not ready yet.
He's too short, if you ask me. He's not tall enough.
Well, I think we're kind of past that. That was more 80s and 90s thing.
But to be invincible, to me, you have to be tall and strong. And to me,
he is strong.
And I know, but tall. He's not. He lacks that.
He's 6'1" or 6 foot.
I understand that, but I tell you what, who I think the next invincible cat will be, if he sticks with it and has no major injuries, will be Obafemi in 10 years.
Who?
Obafemi.
I don't know who that is.
He's in NXT. We just talked about him.
Okay.
He's their NXT champion.
Braun Breaker will be their they'll be their big thing at some point. I promise you that. I guarantee you that Braun Breaker will.
I'm not denying that. I just don't see him to be
He's no taller than his uncle Scott was, and Scott was invincible for many years.
Right. So Obafemi is 27 years old, and let's see here. Height. Why is it giving me in millimeters? I want in feet. Oh my goodness.
More from the US.
6'4".
Right. Well, he's a big guy. But I think that Braun Breaker's 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, I think so.
Stone Cold. He's the same height that Stone Cold was probably, and look how Stone Cold done.
You're right. I mean,
he's not Daniel Bryan height.
No,
he's not MJF.
Braun
height.
Breaker is 6 foot.
Okay.
So I mean, no, I mean he's not. Like I said, he's not short by.
He's not
any of the stretch of the
He's not
imagination.
Daniel Bryan or what MJF height, something like that. He's not. So no, he'll make his mark. He's just not there yet. I see a lot of mistakes that he makes in the rings. In the ring, not so much wrestling move, but sometimes you can tell he just gets a little confused on where he's at, and that's all comes in time.
Right.
He's going to get that in time. He's just not quite there yet. This time, this time next year, you're going to see him. I think you'll see him going on a run. He may be the one that takes the belt off CM Punk if CM Punk wins it in WrestleMania.
Very possible. All right, so moving forward, we just got done talking about Saturday night's main event and a couple of the potential moving headliners moving forward. So the Evolution happened on Sunday night. That was the big end to the big wrestling weekend extravaganza, slobber knocker, whatever you want to call it. The first match was the triple threat, was a phenomenal triple threat where Becky Lynch retained her Women's Intercontinental Championship in a 16-minute, 30-second match. The second match was Jacy Jayne, who is champion, defeated Jordynne Grace in the Women's Championship with Blake Monroe on the side of Jordynne Grace. However, at the end of the match, Blake turned against Jordynne and allowed Jacy Jayne to get her mark. So, moving forward, Blake Monroe and Jordynne Grace will not longer be any kind of a friend. Any friendship no longer will be there. So, that was really interesting, her moving against her at the end of the match. The third match of the night was the Judgment Day. They retained against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Sol Ruka, Zarya, and the Kabuki Warriors, known as Asuka and Kairi Sane, in a fatal four-way for the Women's Tag Team Champion. When Liv Morgan went out for injury, that was the stipulation that they would have to try to retain the Judgment Day, would have to try to retain their champions. The fourth match of the night was Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. Tiffany Stratton retained her champion, winning against Trish in 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Moving on to the no holds barred match. Bianca Belair was the special guest referee. Jade Cargill defeated Naomi by pinfall. And in the 20 Women Evolution Battle Royale for the Women's Championship match at Clash in Paris, Stephanie Vaquer won by eliminating Lash Legend. And the main event was this probably one of the best women's matches I have ever seen. It started out as Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, and it went for around probably 25 minutes. A great match. They were getting thrown all over the place. Knocked out the ref, went into the crowd, come back in, and then the major bomb was dropped. Naomi come out and cashed in her Money in the Bank, made it a triple threat, threw Rhea Ripley out, landed on Io Sky in a finishing move to pin her and win the championship. Later on the next night on Monday Night Raw, it was announced that these three ladies, Naomi, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley, would all meet together once again at SummerSlam in August for a triple threat for the Women's World Championship. And then later on, during a match with, you may remember this, I kind of fell asleep. I was kind of bad, but tell us about the return of Mr. Roman Reigns.
When nobody was expecting it, and then you saw what OTC come across the screen.
OTC won.
And then Roman come down, and the crowd exploded for him. People was really people was really glad to see him. And myself, I was too. I was glad to see Roman back. He's kind of been the face of the company, and he come. I think that surprised everybody. It was a nice surprise seeing. I by myself, I had no clue that he was going to be there. They must have kept him in the trailer out there in the trailer or something the whole time, because I don't think anybody.
I'll be honest, I don't even think I saw anything online.
No, I don't think I didn't either. And I heard somebody on one of these podcasts that I talked to said commended WWE for doing a good job of keeping him concealed. A lot of that time, what they'll do is put him in the truck out there and just let him sit out there, and then nobody else, even other talent, doesn't know he's there.
Right.
That's what they say. What they say, JR says, if you want something, spread it around, tell a wrestler.
Yeah. So it was a big wrestling extravaganza weekend. And next weekend, it's not all over, because next weekend is TNA's Slammiversary. Slammiversary is their big pay-per-view. I have already got it purchased, and I'm going to be watching it. Probably not going to be watching it live, but a very good card indeed.
When is it live?
It is live Sunday night.
Sunday night. Okay.
It'll be live Sunday night. So here is the card. So Trick Williams, Joe Hendry, and Mike Santana, and a 3-way match for the TNA World Championship. Moose versus Leon Slater for the TNT X Division Championship. The Nemeths, the Hardys, the Rascals, and First Class for a 4-way tag team ladder match for the World Tag Team Champion. And we got Tessa Blanchard and Indy Hartwell in a singles match. Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander in a singles match. And then you got the Elegant Brand and the Inspiration for a TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Champion. And the last one on the card, here's the Matt Slimovich versus JC Jane NXT, and this is for the NXT Women's. Okay, this is a title for title. So it's for the TNA Knockouts World Champion and the NXT Women's Champion. So the TNA Knockouts World Champion and the NXT World Women's Championship. So basically, winner take all match for that. So really good card coming up. It's going to be on TNA pay-per-view. I bought it on TNA Plus. I'm sure you can do the same. It'll be on July 20th, which is Sunday, and I believe start time is 7 o'clock. That would have something to do. You have to look up. Anyway, going to be a great card. I'm really excited about that. And that is all for the wrestling part of our podcast. Moving on to Major League Baseball.
And there was a lot of wrestling to talk about, and it was all good. Before we move off, I'll commend it, and they did a good job, and I certainly enjoyed it. And there's a lot more to come with SummerSlam and everything coming up. Real quick on wrestling, I asked this: when did Joe Hendry lose the TNA?
2-3 months ago.
Okay, but at least he's involved. Think he'll win it back?
Good question. I don't know.
Well, we'll find out.
Moving on to the MLB. MLB All-Star break was this week. It's all started off with the draft on Sunday. Very good draft. Actually, one of our locals was drafted. A kid that grew up just not too far from our hometown was drafted in the late rounds. I believe his last name was Mills, out of Oran. So good luck to him, and I don't know if he is going to decide to sign, go to college, what he's got going on. But props to him. Congratulations on the draft. But first of all, um, I believe there was a lot of snubs in the All-Star break, in the All-Star game, including the Texas Rangers starting pitcher Nathan Eovaldi. So, because they agreed so too, they thought that it would be good to do this nice gesture. So they went ahead and give Nathan Eovaldi his $100,000 All-Star bonus in his contract, even though he didn't make the All-Star team. Eovaldi has had an incredible season so far. He's went a 158 ERA over 91 innings, and he could potentially be a trade piece. The Texas Rangers has really struggled this year. They're not in the place to make a big splash at the deadline, if you ask me. So why not trade this aging pitcher? Why not try to? He's pitching fabulous right now. Why not try to trade him to a potential contender and get some good grief, I cannot prospects out of him and build for next year? Because if you're not going to win this year, teams don't do this enough, and I hate this when fans get upset with it. That you have to go on there, and if you are failing, if you are losing at the deadline, and you have no room, no options, and no other way or no other solutions, and you're not going to bring back a player for the next year that's on an expiring contract, you got to trade him. Teams don't do that enough. And I see this year after year of teams not wanting to do this with their players. So if the Texas Rangers squander an opportunity to get rid of Nathan Eovaldi at the deadline, they're wasting their potential of building for the future. They're not going to be a playoff team this year. He's an aging pitcher. He's one pitch away from going down with Tommy John for 2 years. Why not trade him right now here at the deadline and get some prospects out of him? Yes, those prospects aren't guaranteed tomorrow. Yes, those prospects aren't guaranteed to win you a Cy Young award. But I would rather have those prospects than this aging starting pitcher, especially next year when you know they're going to be ready to try to build again and try to build another championship team. The NL wins the All-Star game and the first home run swing off with Kyle Schwarber hitting 3 home runs. This was the first year of the home run swing off. This was a fabulous way to end the All-Star game. Instead of going to extra innings, no 10th inning. It ended in a tie, and then they got 6 guys together, 3 from the AL, 3 from the NL, and they said, "Let you go out, hit home runs. Whoever hits the most wins the game." So it was the National League. I think it's perfect. I think it's a fun way to end it. I don't think that there should be any way other than that, because I've seen this year after year of people complaining about extra innings taking so long, games taking so long.
That's the game, though.
It is the game. Let them play. Let them play the game. I'm telling you.
We're really for is trying to get more and more sports all the time. We're worried about how long the game's going to take.
Right.
Look, they add baseball hasn't a long time, but the NFL, I think the NFL's going to add another game in the next few years, ain't they?
Are they?
I think so. I think it's going to be 18 games. I think that was the plan that started. It went to 17, and after so long, it's going to go on 18. But it seems like we want to keep adding expansion. We want to add more teams. We want to make longer seasons, but we're so set on trying to cut the game length down. I understand you don't want a game for going forever, but that makes a good game sometime. The game this team is locked up tight.
Absolutely.
That's the drama of the sport.
Absolutely. I think the MLB, most in particularly, spends so much time talking about this pace of play bullshit that it gets out of control and out of the way. Of course, I agree that you want to draw fans in, you want everybody there. I get that, but do me this favor: get rid of that stupid pitch clock in the postseason. Have it in the regular season. Go ahead, because by God, it's not going away. But I tell you what, it does not need to be in the postseason. In the postseason, because I don't care because postseason games are naturally more long. So be it. You pay $200 to $300 for nosebleed seats in the postseason, and it's less than a 2-hour ball game. Maybe if you're lucky, 3 hours. Why not just let it go? And so what if you're there 4 hours? People know if they buy a ticket for a game on a Wednesday or Thursday night, that they have work or school the next day. That's why they buy the tickets that day.
And I'll be 100% honest with you. If I'm going to a MLB game, or I'm going to an NFL game or a UFL game or whatever, if there's going to be anywhere in the league, if there's going to be a tie game that goes into extra innings or overtime, I want to be at that game. I want to be there because that's good. That's exciting and makes it an interesting to me. You get your money's worth.
Absolutely. So we're going to move on to the top trading candidates for the trade deadline coming up at the end of the month. We are about 15 days from that. The first one, and I think it is a no-brainer. The Boston Red Sox need to sell as many players as possible, and I think you will see players be sold at this deadline like you have never seen before. First, I want to say Jarrell Duran out of Boston. He's a great outfielder, great player, but he's getting up there in age. And if Boston's building for the future, they're not building for this year. They're probably not even going to build for next year, because you trade one of your best players in June. You trade this guy. You get him out of there. You get prospects in where you're not guaranteed prospects that are going to be great. You're not guaranteed Hall of Fame prospects. But he's one injury from being out.
Right.
I mean, he's getting up there. I mean, yes, he's not that terribly old, but he's getting up there in 30. He's running out of contract space.
But prospects can turn out good.
Next up, Sandy Alcantara. Sandy Alcantara has really struggled this year. I would too if your team wouldn't spend any money, or if your team just downright sucked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. They haven't had a winning season since 2021 and 2020. And that one of that year was the 60-game stretch, and they only played like 50 games because they had COVID.
I thought the Rockies had a pitcher too that you thought they'd market.
Oh, I hadn't got there yet.
Okay, go ahead.
But with the Marlins, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't play very good too. Say, get me off here, man. Get me out of here.
I want to win.
If I do good, you're gonna try to keep me until my contract's up. Get me out of here. Moving on, Ryan McMahon of Colorado, third baseman. He could potentially be going. Third base trend is going to be really hot, especially the Yankees are going to be looking for a third baseman because Jazz Chisholm is horrendous. He's horrendous. He's terrible. He's terrible at third base. He's a terrible hitter. I mean, you want to look at his numbers, he's great, but he embarrassed himself at the home run derby. He hit 3 home runs.
Oh, that's the one you were talking about?
He had 3 minutes to hit 3 home runs. It was embarrassing. Truly embarrassing. I think Ryan McMahon will be traded. Ryan O'Hearn's out of Baltimore, first baseman, great player. I think he'll be traded. He needs to go. That team is another team, like Boston and Texas. You sucked this year. You had plans to be a good team this year, but you squandered it away. You're terrible. Get out from any kind of contract you have any potential in. unless Ryan Hearn is going to be your future guy at 30 years old, unless you're going to give him a big, nice 7 to 8 year contract or 5 year contract and make him your franchise player, fine, keep him. But if not, trade him. Get some kind of prospect. Get some upside out of that, because if not, he's just going to walk away. He's going to walk away, and you're going to get one compensation pick in next July's draft. You're not going to get nothing but a compensation pick. But if you ask for a prospect, you know they can play ball. If you get your compensation pick, you're drafting a college kid or a high school kid. Ridiculous. Moving forward, Josh Naylor, another first baseman out of Arizona, probably going to get traded. Should get traded, but knowing Arizona, they're probably just going to squander everything and think that they're going to be continuing to be winners and not sell at the deadline like they should, because they're terrible. They're not a good team this year. I mean, you look at their record; they got a decent record, but if they were truly a good team with battling team with they would be a lot better recordly than what they're seeing, but they're not. They need to sell. Another one out of Arizona is Eugenio Suarez. Get him out of there. Trade him. Trade him to New York. Get one of their catching prospects or get one of their outfielders from them. Build for your future, because next year I think the West will be Arizona's if they play it right.
The West?
Yeah, Arizona.
No.
Absolutely.
There's too much talent there. Too much other teams to.
I think it could potentially be Arizona's.
I think they could be in the mix, but I don't think they'll be number one. They'll be the Dodgers. Dodgers have got a lot of talent for a long time.
I know, but the thing is, it's old talent.
Sure, but what about the Giants? They're coming back together as a pretty strong team, aren't they?
They're under 500 since the middle of June. I mean, to me, with the exception of Colorado, I mean, you got 4 teams out there, but I think the biggest thing, the biggest 2 teams you got to look out for in the West is the Dodgers and Padres next year.
Right.
Because I don't think the Giants will be back next year. And particularly I don't know how the Padres will play it. They may not even be back. And shoot, if depending on how the Diamondbacks do it, if they don't do it right at the deadline and even at the end during the off season, you might as well kiss them goodbye.
Is the Padres, are they putting together a young team?
No, I mean they're getting agey.
Okay.
I mean that's the problem with these teams that spend money. Yes, they're good, but they're agey. They are aging teams.
They've spent the big money for what's happening right now.
Because here's the thing, and I will say this forever. You look at the Dodgers, you look at the Yankees, you look at the Padres this year. I guarantee the median or the mean of their ages is at least 30 to 31.
Wow.
I guarantee, and yes, they have some younger people on there, but the Dodgers bullpen is all 35, 36, 37 years old. Same thing with their rotation. I mean, Shohei Ohtani, yeah, but he's almost 30. He may be already 30. He's no spring chicken. He's not that. I mean,
and he's one of the younger ones, probably.
Yeah. Clayton Kershaw. He's like 38 years old. These teams that spend the money always have aging players, always have aging teams. That's why I'm a full believer in you only want to spend money on one or two big names. Build around those two big names. Make your team around those two big names.
Well, it's hard to build a team off of free agency. You complement a team off free agency. It needs to come from, from your drafts and your minor, all that from your minor league and all that stuff.
90, I would say close to 90% of the Dodgers 26-man roster have not played one single game in their farm system before making the majors.
That's and it's really baseball's no different than football. That way, football you can't build a team just on free agency. You got to have you got to have drafts. You got to have guys that comes up.
Right.
And baseball to me, baseball's no different when it comes to that.
Zach Gallen is another player out of Arizona. Trade him. He struggled, but a change of scenery is always good for every player. I will stand on that till the day I die. I will never forget the year that Randy Johnson was traded to the Astros in 1998. Of course, I wasn't alive. I wasn't there, but I see the stats. I've seen the games.
I thought you said you never forget that.
I will never forget it.
You won't forget the stat. Yeah, I got you.
He done fabulous over 10 starts. Got paid. Change of scenery is all some player needs.
Yeah.
Pedro Martinez goes to Montreal. Best player you ever seen in Montreal. I mean,
look at your JV when he come to Houston.
Justin Verlander when he come to Houston in 2017.
Was a little bit in Detroit.
Yes, I mean, of course, he only had like 4 games in Houston in 17, but those were a strong 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, he come in. He was really a rejuvenated new guy that came in and played excellent. Big part of his career was in Houston. A success.
Absolutely. Adolis Garcia, Texas. I think we mentioned trade him. Get him out of there. He's an aging player. He's probably on steroids. Looking at him because he don't look like you're telling me this dude looks like a freight train within. I mean, he looks like he's getting bigger every time I see him. His muscles are. He's got to be on some type of steroids. This is off. It's unbelievable. You're not telling me he lifts that much.
Which is in the bodybuilding.
Seth Lugo, great pitcher for Kansas City, was a former San Diego Padre. Trade him, get him out of there. Kansas City don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to manage a franchise. They have 1 or 2 good years, and then 10, 15 years they're bad. Get him out of there. Trade him. Freddie Peralta. Yes, the Milwaukee Brewers are right there, but Milwaukee Brewers is the only team in Major League Baseball that I've ever seen to trade a big piece, not just anybody, but a big piece in the middle of a playoff run and still make the playoffs. They did it a couple of years ago when they traded Josh Hader to the Padres. I think they could potentially do it again here with Freddie Peralta. Where does Freddie Peralta go? Does he go to a Chicago? Probably not, because that's interdivision. They're not going to trade interdivision. Does he go somewhere out west? Probably not. I see him probably going to a Toronto Blue Jays. That's my pick, or a potential somebody else who needs a starting pitcher. Houston Astros don't have the prospect depth to go out and get a guy like him. Freddie Peralta's got years on his contract. That would be the kind of guy that the Astros would go after, but they don't have it in their bank. I mean, unless you totally mortgage the farm system, I mean, you're not going to get that done. Mitch Keller is one that the Houston Astros could potentially go after. He's got a couple of years left on his contract. He's been a struggling pitcher in the past. He's doing pretty good this year on a struggling Pittsburgh Pirates team behind Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens is probably going to be a future Roger Clemens, future Randy Johnson, future Cy Young, future best pitcher in baseball. Probably already is the best pitcher in baseball. But the Pittsburgh Pirates aren't going anywhere. Aren't going anywhere at all anytime soon. So why not trade this guy who he's got a couple years left on his contract? You can get some kind of plus prospects out of him. Yes, we talked about prospects aren't guaranteed tomorrow. They're not guaranteed Hall of Famers. They're not guaranteed Cy Young winners. So be it. At least you're getting better because Mitch Keller's like
29 years old.
Nearly 3 years left on his contract. Trade him. See, what gets me, and I'll go through this big spiel again. Teams do not use this deadline how it should be used. MLB hates it. Fans hate it. But if they want to win, they would do it my way. If you're losing this year and you have any opportunity to trade anybody, trade them. Build for next year. Because you can build a team for next year with an aging starting pitcher, getting him on, because you've still got an ace in Paul Skeens. You're not losing your entire pitching staff by trading one aging pitcher. Same thing with a fielder. You trade Ryan O'Hearns, Baltimore. You've got pieces in AAA, or you can get pieces from Ryan O'Hearns to go forward and have a great team moving forward into next year. Unless they plan on him being their version of Albert Pujols, Mickey Mantle, Aaron Rodriguez, or Alex Rodriguez. Sorry about that, Aaron Rodriguez. I don't know where I got that. Derek Jeter, trade him. Teams do not do this enough. MLB hates it. Fans hate it. But it's smart for baseball.
Why does MLB hate it?
Because you're tanking in quotations. But if you do it right, you're not tanking.
But also the trade deadline is also supposed to be intended for we got an extra outfielder that we're not using it much, but we have a bad need for a pitcher. Well, we're making a run right now. We need that. That's also what it's supposed to be.
Absolutely. And another one, Cedric Mullins, Baltimore. Expiring contract. He's not played very good this year. But there's teams out there that need outfielders.
And as you say, might give him a new start.
I mean, there's definitely teams out there. I mean, and these are just some of the names I haven't even mentioned that could go, that should be traded. Atlanta, trade your expiring contracts. It's that simple. If you have an expiring contract on your roster and you don't have any options and you don't have any plans on bringing him back next year, trade him. We're going to take a look here at the league standings at the All-Star break, and then we'll get into football. The American League East. Toronto Blue Jays, 55-41. New York Yankees, 53-43. 2 games out. The Boston Red Sox are right there at 53-45, only 3 games out. But I don't see them being that team all year. You can still trade at the deadline and not be a total seller. Trade Duran, get some prospects, or get somebody you need in the pitching department. They don't need outfielders. If it was up to me, I would trade Trevor Story. That was the worst contract that they've done in recent years. Tampa Bay in fourth place at 50 and 47. This is all interesting. 5.5 games out. Let's go to the Central. Detroit. They could go for some pitching. They need pitching. Tariq Skubal can't do it all. They're 59 and 38. Of course, they're leading that division well by 11.5 games. Second place is Minnesota Twins, 47 and 49. Kansas City Royals, third place, 47 and 50. Cleveland Guardians at 46 and 49. If you'd have told me that at the beginning of the year, I said you're lying. That's supposed to be a good team. What happened? What happened to these teams? And if the Cleveland Guardians don't sell any kind of expiring contract, they need to fire everybody, if you ask me. Because here's the thing, teams don't do this enough. Teams don't utilize it enough. Chicago White Sox in last place at 32 and 65. Here to the West. Houston Astros at 56 and 40. Second place is the Seattle Mariners at 51 and 45. The Texas Rangers at 48 and 49. Los Angeles Angels at 47 and 49. They have people they can trade. Trade them. And in last place is the Athletics, 41 and 57. No one wins with the Athletics. National League East. Philadelphia Phillies are 55 and 41 at first place. New York Mets are 55 and 42, half game out. Third place is Miami Marlins, 44 and 51, 10.5 games out. Atlanta Braves are 42 and 53, and people still think they have a chance. They're 12 games out of first place and 9.5 games out of the wild card. Get them out of there. Trade everybody. That's an exaggeration, but they have players they can trade. Marcelo Ozuna is a great example. Expiring contract, aging player. You can get a decent prospect for that right there. It's just in him. Last place is Washington Nationals. Chicago Cubs, 57 and 39, first place. Milwaukee Brewers, 56 and 40. St. Louis Cardinals, 51 and 46. Cincinnati Reds, 50 and 47. Pittsburgh Pirates, 39 and 58. The NL West. Dodgers at 58 and 39. 5.5 out is the Padres at 52 and 44. And you got the Giants at 52 and 45. And you got the Diamondbacks at 47 and 50. And then you got the Rockies at 22 and 74. That should be embarrassing. 22 wins and 74 losses at the deadline.
22 wins at the. I never thought I'd ever hear of a team that had 22 wins at the All-Star break.
It's pitiful, is what it is. I feel so sorry for their fans.
I do too. Their fans, I feel sorry for them, and that's just all it is bad management.
Absolutely
terrible bad management.
Terrible. Moving on. Dad's going to give you some of the highlights and headlines for the NFL.
All right, right now it's really difficult. There's not a lot of NFL news. I mean, there's things. It's none of it's earth shattering, and so everybody's just they're in training, just ready for them to start playing preseason games, ready to start get going. But a couple of the things that we'll mention here today is that 8-time Pro Bowler Von Miller is apparently going to sign with the Washington Commanders. I'm drawing a blank where he was from.
Played last year in Minnesota.
Minnesota,
didn't he?
yes, right. Came from Minnesota. Looks like he's going to sign with the Commanders. I think the Washington Commanders I may be a little bit wrong on them. I think they may have a better season than I really thought. Little FYI here. talking about teams not doing well or not managed right. The 2025 schedule, the Saints, the New Orleans Saints, the Cleveland Browns, and the Tennessee Titans are the only teams in the NFL that does not have a primetime game on their schedule. Now, why don't they put them on the schedule? They want on the primetime schedule. They want teams that's winning. They want,
Oh, absolutely.
and if you're not, if you're tanking every year, and I'm kind of surprised that the Cardinals are not there. It's not there. I'm really surprised because for many, many, many years, this is not favoritism or nothing. For many years, guess who was on that list? The Detroit Lions. You ain't gonna find the Detroit Lions there now because they're winning. So anybody that's fallen into that deal, sure, every team's gonna have a bad season, but these three teams here have had a lot of bad seasons, and this time next year there'll be one of them teams on there again.
Absolutely,
maybe all of them. All right, tight end Darren Waller's acquisition from the Giants was made official on the league's transaction wire. The Dolphins sent a 2026 sixth-round selection in exchange for Waller and a 2027 conditional seventh-round pick. There's some potential there. Not sure exactly what all it'll entail. Minkah Fitzpatrick's acquisition from the Steelers was made official on the league's website. NFL News Roundup: Vikings commit $500,000, and I thought this was I really kind of thought this was cool. The NFL, the Minnesota Vikings has committed $500,000 to support the rescue and recovery efforts from the Texas floods. It's $500,000, a lot of money.
Very good.
Commend them for that.
I really do commend them for that.
Yes, that really makes me have a lot of respect for the Vikings.
Then I have some questions for you.
All right.
So, what would it take for Josh Allen to become the greatest Buffalo Bill ever?
Win a Super Bowl?
Win a Super Bowl. If Allen never wins a Super Bowl, how will we remember his career?
Like Dan Marino was a good quarterback, just never could cross the finish line. But here's the thing with Josh. There's a lot to say on. If Josh tanked right now and never did anything else, he's just going to have a so-so career. You can say, boy, he started off strong. But, if he has a 16-game career or your career like Dan Marino had, and I don't know, he had 50-some records when he retired I forgot his crazy amount. Josh Allen is on that road too. But yeah, Josh Allen, he's been great. But is he established himself as a Hall of Fame quarterback yet? I don't think so. Close. I think he's going to have some more. I mean, he's close, but
I think he's got to have some more years like we've seen, because if he just quits now, he's not going to make it in the Hall of Fame. Maybe a Buffalo Bills Hall of Fame, but not.
Oh, yeah, I think he would go in the Buffalo Bills Hall of Fame. He may have most of the Buffalo Bills records on quarterback records right now. Jim Kelly's probably got a lot of those. Jim Kelly played a long time.
So I know this. I mean, yes, he did sign that contract back in March. However, I'm going to go ahead and ask this too. Would Allen benefit from a change of scenery, or is Buffalo the best place for him?
I think Buffalo is the best place for him.
Do you think that he will get a better opportunity? Not really a better opportunity. I don't know how to say this without wording it badly. When the new stadium comes open in Buffalo, do you think there will be more hype on Josh Allen then than there is now, or there was?
I think there'll be more hype on the team. I'm not necessarily sure there'll be more on Josh, but I think there'd be more hype on the team. Because I'm going to tell you, this team, they're not far from crossing the finish line. They're real close. They're a player, or something from crossing the finish line.
Yeah, we'll just see how long Patricia Mahomes stays up top.
Right. Well, they're well coached.
Absolutely,
they're very well coached. So I think that here's going to be some changes. And I'm not just saying it because I'm a fan of the Josh McDaniels is going to improve the Patriots on their offense. I mean, they really can't get much worse than they were, but the Patriots going to improve. You know, they're not. They'll win more than 4 games. I look for them to win 7 or 8 games this year.
Anything above 3 games would be an improvement.
Right. Anything above 4 games because they won 4 games the last 2 years. But anyway, so yeah, that's a little that makes it a little harder for Buffalo and Miami and everybody there because it's always nice to have a weak team in your division. So that's going to make it a little harder for them. The Jets, I can't see the Jets doing anything but improving a little bit. Can they get much worse than they were?
I think the worst team in that East division will be Miami.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, where I was going to with that, yeah, Buffalo, I think, will come out strong. I think they'll win their division, but I think they're going to have their division games could be a little harder this year because I think you're going to see a lot more out of the Patriots. Maybe a little more out of the Jets, but definitely more out of the Patriots. So instead of they could get beat one of those games. Is what I'm trying to say. It's not just it's going to be a little harder. I still think that Buffalo will come out. They'll win their division. I think they'll be one of the top tier teams. Whether they can cross the finish line. Here's the problem Josh is going to start getting. He's going to start getting that Peyton had it a long time. That can't. He's a great quarterback, but he just can't close the deal. And Josh is going to start getting that before long. Maybe he already is a little bit. People's going to start saying that about him.
Now, finally, the last question I have. Could Josh Allen one day be the NFL MVP, or is that window gone?
No, it's not gone. Absolutely not. Absolutely not gone. Absolutely. All it's going to take is 1 or 2 players to accommodate him and some things to go right. And, no, absolutely not. It's not passed him up yet. He's got 2 or 3 more. I mean, look how old Tom Brady was when he got an MVP. So, no, it's not passed him up yet. Buffalo needs to come out this year. This needs to be being preached to them that this is their season. This is their season that they're going to come out and they're going to go all the way. That's what the message that he needs to be preaching to them. That we got the talent, we got everything we need. This is the year that we go all the way because they almost did last year. So no, this is the time you've got to keep going. You got to push them across and get them across that finish line. And I think that the team is if they don't this year, when's a better opportunity? When is a better opportunity? See what I'm saying?
I mean, the best opportunities now.
Exactly.
That's the best opportunity in sports.
You can't say, well, maybe we'll be better next year. No, you're better this year. You've got to do it this year. You've got to go this year. And just, God forbid something like, Josh getting hurt or somebody, key player being hurt. But take care of Josh. And Josh is a big, strong kid. He's a tough kid. I mean, he'll fight it right out. He'll run or whatever, but still give him some time. And Josh's worst problem is maybe he's a little bit of a hot dog sometime. But I respect it for the fact that he wants to do all he can. But, no, I think the Buffalo Bills is a team that you're going to have to watch. And I'll be honest with you, I'd like to see them go on. I think they deserve to. And like I said, they're a well-coached team.
Oh, absolutely. I do agree with that. So that will do it for us this week on the Backyard Sports Talk. Reminder, we will not have a podcast next week.
Vacation.
We are on vacation, so we will return on the trade deadline week. So we will have big trade deadline news. Hopefully some big blockbuster trades by then.
Be a lot of baseball that week.
So we're going to say so long for now. But we will see you guys on the other side. And you guys have a good evening, good afternoon, whenever you might be listening to this podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the Backyard Sports Talk.
God bless everybody. And thank you for your time tonight. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Good night.